You have your coffee, right? You didn't have Okay. All right, then I will go over it. My attractive characteristic, personal trait. Anybody have problem with that?
Only insofar as overthinking it, maybe, you know, is that true? How do I know that's true? You know, I've kind of got caught in that route, looking at that one.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How many of us, how do you know what you are? I'm going to go around here. Each of you say one word that represents who you are in terms of personal characteristics. What do you know about yourself, who you are? What's the first thing that stands out in your mind?
I'm very much the
So you still carry around, you say, I'm the youngest child.
I'm still my mother's baby.
All right. It is what people see you, right?
Perception.
Okay, let's just go quickly. Can you give us a Hannah?
I believe. I believe.
You believe. Okay.
I think I'm an optimist.
You are optimistic. Mm-hmm. Maureen?
Competent.
Competent. Right.
Passionate.
Passionate.
Confident.
Confident.
Poised. Poised.
Poised. All right. Rita?
Facilitator.
Uh-huh.
Inspiration.
Rita?
Inspirational.
Inspirational. And, right.
Sense of humor.
Louder?
Sense of humor.
A sense of humor. We need that, don't we? Scott?
Determined.
Determined? Patty?
Healer.
Healer?
Driven.
Dream? Oh, driven.
Resilient.
Resilient?
I'd say gifted, competent, that kind of. That's how it feels.
Competent? All right.
Sincere.
Sincere? Sharon?
Enigma.
This echo is bothering me.
Enigma.
Oh, yeah.
Contradictory.
Uh-huh. Scott? Did you find that true? I put him on the spot with that. Josh, what's your characteristic?
Right now, confused.
Oh. I don't know about myself. So from your interaction with me, Josh, how would you describe me? That's cheating, right? Put him on the spot.
Hey, I really don't know how to answer.
He didn't want to hurt my feelings, right?
No, it's not that. My mind is on the...
That's not fair. Well, what do you think?
Dynamic. Kind. Sincere.
Knowledgeable.
Boy,
Gentle.
boy, you guys are so kind.
Right. Compassionate.
Adorable.
My husband said I'm spoiled. But I think I'm I'm a happy person because I'm very thankful. And I just feel, what I am is not come what I do with it, what I build myself, and I think it just happened. Isn't that we feel sometimes like existential perspective? I did not ask to be born Chinese. I did not ask to be short. I did not ask to be, we were thrown into this world with no grounding, right? We were so, you don't even know where you're going until you look back and you see, oh my goodness, how fortunate I am compared with, what's happening in the world. So I think we all have that feelings of mystery. Why are we here? And to death. Psychological, social, emotional, and spiritual being. That's who we are. Isn't that mysterious, precious? And this is why, how do we use ourselves in the helping profession, the healing profession, to people who are just as complex as we are? Because we're made of the same stuff. So this is why I take counseling, psychotherapy very seriously. I was joking earlier, we have 4 lawyers in our family. The lawyers usually charge $300 to $400 an hour for consultation. And how much could psychotherapists charge? And so it's not for the money that we engage in this profession, is it? When we were invited to speak in Japan, Tokyo, at the last day, they asked if I would say anything. I told a group of people who were very, very serious, and very sincere, and I said, anybody who wants to make money, get out of here. Because in doing psychotherapy, you give so much of yourself to others. And sometimes you don't get any reward at all, monetarily. But what do we get? Satisfaction. We get joy. We just feel that we have done something, not just for myself, but for others and for society at large. And that's worthwhile, isn't it? So I think this course not only give you the skills and how you, learn about yourself and how to use, that's part of it, but also to develop who you are and make the best of yourself so that you can share with others. Other questions? And I think what we will do, I wanted to have more interaction, and I'm a person who wanted to hear from you rather than just lecture and give you on whatever is on the paper. So maybe we have known each other for 2 days now. So we'll divide into smaller groups in the afternoon so that your small groups could do some discussion and helping one another and grow together. Does that make sense? Okay, good. And I apologize for the ones online. You wouldn't have the opportunity to share, but hopefully you can, with Josh's help, you could ask questions and you could interact for the group that stays here. All right, let's continue with the cultural self. And last time we talked about collectivistic and individualistic society. What do you know about individualistic and collectivistic society? In general, what we're talking about, I forgot this thing does not work on this screen. Okay, collectivistic society usually refer to the Western society. And collectivistic, no? Okay. Individualistic society, it is the North Americans, right? With 4 hours sleep. Good thing. All right. And then the collectivistic is more, I wouldn't say Southeast Asian. I mean, do we arbitrarily decide what kind of society we lived in? No. Steve, you tell me.
Well, I think we're born into society, and society has a culture, and that culture tends to form how we see ourselves and how we see ourselves as part of a group.
But why would we say that Western is more individualistic?
I think that's the way society developed. I mean, you know, even opening up the West historically was about quote unquote rugged individualism. It was about people, you know, man against nature, man against his environment, man against another man. It was always about the individual.
All right.
I think the rise of the individual really began with the Enlightenment, did it not? The Age of Reason. That's really when we began to see like the separation of self from the collective.
Mm-hmm.
Very capitalistic, with the emergence of capitalism, and the focus became much more individualistic. So it's about high context, low context culture, which has been highly researched, right, and spoken about. And it can be also in a continuum. Even though Western, it's not homogeneous, individualistic, you can have Aboriginal people who live in a notion of collectivism.
Excellent. Now, what does that have to do with counseling? Rita?
How decisions are made, how they, so for example, if you're seeing abused women, it's not very simplistic to say that the only option is to leave, even though you're supporting them, because they have a consideration of family, community, the whole society before they will make a decision and they've exhausted all resources for change.
In other words, individuals are encouraged to set goals in the individualistic society, but the other one would be to carry on as a group.
Yes.
You're part of the group.
Sorry, the question you asked us earlier about our view of self, or how we saw ourselves, or a word that described ourselves. I mean, for many of us, it's not just what we think of me, but it's also what do people, and that speaks to the collective or environment, like the people in our circle, what do they think of, and my sense of self comes from not just what I think, but from what my significant others think of me too. So
You care about how people look at you, how people, yes. And you shape yourself according to the need in that society.
It's socially constructed, a lot of it, in terms of lived experiences, etc.